blackbreakfast@gmail.com or call 707-554-2784. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580. At KBLA Talk 1580, we've got your black.
I have a dream today.
From slavery and segregation to the Great Migration to our present-day rising, the Black experience in America is a story of resilience, achievement, and unstoppable spirit. This February, we're curating amazing conversations celebrating the heroes, the pioneers, and the everyday people who made history. Black History Month on KBLA Talk 1580. Together, we carry the torch forward.
First things first.
First things first, it's the DU General, Money B. I'ma put you up on the schedule, 6 to 9, 8 weekdays, not 2 and 7. Let's go. We got a lot to talk about, so much to pedal through. Unapologetically progressive. Tune to KBLA 1580 to get the mess. We're your ancestors' favorite radio station. First Black on Talk Radio, left side of the nation. First. Me and Dominique DiPrima go way back. Tag Smiley making sure the station stays black. Discussing all the issues in our community. We're hosted Black and Brown and others find unity. So let's talk about it. Maybe we can improve it. Digital underground, always down with the movement. So we tune in. The first things first with the queen of Black Talk Radio, Dominique DiPrima. Go sis.
First things first.
KBLA Talk 1580. Good morning. Good morning and God bless. I'm Dominique DiPrima. This show is called First Things First, and my first thing today and every day, giving thanks, giving praise, and asking for blessings from God, asking for the blessings of the ancestors and the elders. And let's go. Okay, it's Thursday. Yep, pretty much Thursday. And this is how we do it on this Thursday. Hour 1, we look to the left coast. Hour 2, we go national, international, and beyond. And in the third hour, we do a deep dive on a person of interest, a hot topic, that type of thing. Today is no exception. Man, I'm laughing because it seems like everything feels more discombobulated because it's raining, which is really silly because I'm from the Bay Area originally, where it rains like, well, at least when I was growing up, about 80% of the time. So you would think I would know how to deal with it, but apparently I've become an Angelino. In any case, we have a great show for you today. Hour 3, we'll be talking with Kimberly Ogletree. She's the president of Greenlight Women, and learning about opportunities for women in Hollywood, especially Black ones, and this moment that we're at right now, which is, it's amazing how the national politics, along with the fires, are impacting every single aspect of our lives. Hour 2, me, you, and the microphone. We're opening up these phone lines, and we're going to just jam. And in this first hour, I'm being joined by a writer for the Progressive, the Los Angeles Progressive. He's also the host of the Conversation Live podcast. And he's a contributor to KBLA, James Farr. Good morning.
Good morning, Dominique. You know, they say it never rains in Southern California, but that's a lie today.
Except when it does, right?
Except for when it does. And
yeah.
When it does, it does. How
right.
you doing?
I'm good. And today's supposed to be really like over-the-top rain. I mean, I don't know how it was out Pasadena, Altadena way, out your way, but it was fairly heavy last night. But today's supposed to be like last year's monsoon type rain. So if you can delay a long trip, like getting on these freeways, if you can kind of stay right in your neighborhood or in your house, this is a good day to do that. Save it for Valentine's.
Absolutely. I mean, because of our proximity to the foothills, we get more rain anyway than kind of here in the basin.
Oh, really? Okay, I didn't
yeah,
realize
yeah,
that.
we get a lot more rain, and so there are concerns about I don't say avalanches, mudslides, and
Right.
because of that burn scar in the mountains. So many areas right now some areas are under an evacuation warning all over again
Because of the
Because of the
mudslide
mudslides.
potential. I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
That's terrible. You call it a burn scar. It almost seems like an understatement because it's such a huge patch of our reality. That's
Well, so I'm speaking more so of the mountain range,
Okay,
kind
I
of the
got
more
you.
the less urban area, the
so that
forestry.
mountain range. They're concerned the mud will slide down into the populated
Well,
areas.
so there are homes in the hillside, right?
Yeah.
But what you're talking about is the devastation in the northwest part of Altadena,
Right.
which is much more residential and less forestry. And so that's kind of what the concern is for the hillside area.
I gotcha.
Yeah, I
and
mean-
it's always the roads too, because look, last time we had the monsoon type rains, we had Stalker Street, which is right in the heart of southwest Los Angeles, blocked. Couldn't drive up or down because that mountain, just that hill. I don't even know if it's really qualifying as a
Right.
mountain.
So
It was in the road.
Another concern is the runoff from the homes, from the properties, with the toxins and stuff that may be in the soil, and how that may enter into the storm drain systems. And I have a friend who surfs, black brother who surfs, so fish out of water is what his thing is. But he said they haven't been able to surf for weeks because of the toxins.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know when they're going to be able to go back in the water.
Yeah.
I mean, I have my own concerns about the water coming out of the faucet. Because honestly, only certain areas have been given that do not drink or boil. It's not even a boil order. It's just don't use your water.
No. So Pasadena, they're water snobs and snobs everything else. We have our own water and utility company. So
Right.
we're not a part of DWP. We have PWP. Our water was compromised in the immediate, aftermath of the fire, but they've seemed to have, I guess, fixed the reservoir that
Yeah.
serviced certain.
Well,
not all of the
and
city.
we never got a do not drink or don't just boil or whatever. But this is where, old fashioned Dominique, who doesn't trust the government, comes out because, I don't think you magically fixed the water and the air that quick. I just don't. I mean, obviously we're not dying. We're not dropping like flies. But I wonder about the long-term impact on our lungs, our skin. You take a shower in that water, whatever's in there comes through your pores. I think obviously you got to take a shower,
right.
but if you can
Well,
avoid,
you should.
you need
should,
to.
yeah.
One does. But if you can avoid anything you can do to cleanse your body,
Sure.
avoid drinking that water, if you can avoid even cooking with it, I would right now.
Right. Well, some say Hennessy and sea moss kind of clears everything out.
Is
I
that right?
I don't know that to be true, but I heard that as kind of when we were going through COVID,
I need to call my friend McCoy Zeno.
ask him if
He's a
Hennessy
Seymour-
and sea moss.
Well, I don't. He doesn't make Hennessy, but he makes sea moss, so he might know. I've known him to have a Hennessy, so maybe he might.
I don't drink, so I don't know if that is a good remedy. No, but I mean, I will say even I feel a little bit more fatigued because of just the smoke and breathing has been a little bit more challenging.
Yeah.
I'm a very active walker. It's my form of self-care, kind of centering myself, focusing, setting intentions for the day. So I didn't disrupt that routine. I should have did like you, go into a mall or something and walk.
Yeah, that's what we were power walking at the mall because at least it's indoors.
Right.
Right. So there's some filtration, there's some protection from ashes and stuff. Now rain, so
Right.
you got. And that's the other thing. I know the rain cleans the air as far as like ash and stuff like that, but if there's toxic gases and stuff, the rain is not going to clean that.
No.
And the rain itself is going to be then laden with ashes and particles and whatever. So that's not rain you want to stand out in and put your face up to.
But
It's dirty rain.
I grew up next to a Chevron refinery, so I kind of think
In
I'm
Richmond.
in Richmond.
Yeah,
I think I'm
Richmond,
built.
California.
I'm built for this, but I'm.
Well, I mean, look, we live in South LA. Well, I do, and a lot of us do. black people tend to live closer to refineries and, battery recycling plants and all the things that spew toxic dust and fumes into the air. That's what environmental racism is. But still, you don't want to go stick your head in the mouth of the lion. Like, if you can avoid standing in front of a moving truck, for me, I can say, oh yeah, well, I was raised on toxins. That don't mean I'm going to drink anthrax.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, if you recall, Dr. William Sims on the broadcast that we did
Yes.
at the church, he said, he remarked, everyone in Pasadena has a neighbor that's a scientist. And it's really true, right?
Because of
a neighbor, like, know a scientist. So even on the side of town where I live,
because of Caltech.
Because of Caltech
And
and
NASA.
NASA and all of that, JPL. But even where I live, there's a development that can't get redeveloped because somewhere back in the 40s, they used to manufacture munitions like Tomahawk missiles. And so I've learned way more than I ever cared to know about these kind of issues, which now informs me how serious it is with this fire, which is going to inhibit the recovery, because where are you taking this toxic soil? So it's a lot.
Yeah, that's the controversy. It's already starting to.
Sure.
There's already starting to be some folks from different neighborhoods, can't blame them, who are rejecting adjacent sites as holding sites or dumping sites for that stuff. So this is, it's a long road. And it's funny you say that, because one of my friends, I don't know a lot of people in Pasadena, Altadena, you and your wife and a handful of others. One of that handful is a scientist. So there you have it.
Well, you may not know a lot of people in Pasadena, Dominique, and Altadena, but a lot of people know you. They know your voice on the radio. They know your career and stuff.
Well,
and somebody even called me Dominique one day, right? Like, that's how popular you are. There, they just see me and say, "Hey, Dominique."
They said,
right?
"Hey, Dominique, I like your haircut."
Something like that,
I like your shirt, Altadena 91001, not for sale.
Not for sale.
Not for sale.
This shirt is a design by the late Mac Robinson's grandson, Dennis Robinson. And so he and a collective, Horace Warmley and others, are they're creatives. And so they've put this line out in there to benefit the Dena Relief Fund. So,
okay, so we'll let you know where you can get one, because it's very, very cool when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
She's reclaiming her time on KBLA Talk 1580. More First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
Fabrice.
Fabric Talk. Hello, my love. I am your living room carpet. I see everything. I feel everything. After a while, I smell like everything, including Sir Pickles, who you snuggle with while binging that dating show you can't stop watching. So, how about we freshen things up with Fabrice Fabric Spray? Oh, and a big spray for my pals, couch and ottoman. Ah, yes, refreshing. Breathe happy, Fabrice. La 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 la.
You okay?
I can't sleep with this cough.
Sounds like you need to vaporize that cold.
Vaporize?
Yeah, with NyQuil VapoCool. It's NyQuil plus a rush of Vicks vapors.
Whoa.
So you ready to get some sleep? Thank you, NyQuil VapoCool.
NyQuil VapoCool, the vaporizing nighttime coughing, aching, fever, best sleep with a cold medicine. And to vaporize sore throat pain, try Vicks VapoCool drops. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
We've got a lot to talk about.
Hi, I'm Zoe Williams, a.k.a. the voice of reason, encouraging you to join me weekdays from 7 to 9 p.m. for the world's most intriguing relationship radio roundtable. Every night, I facilitate and encourage our loyal listeners to participate in the most engaging relationship discussions you'll hear anywhere. So make it a point to rendezvous with me, Zoe Williams, the voice of reason, Monday through Friday, 7 to 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Trust me, your relationships will never be the same. The VOR is on fire tonight.
Unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black.
The new year brings new health goals and wealth goals. Protecting your identity is an important step. Your info is in endless places that could expose you to identity theft, leading to lost funds. LifeLock monitors millions of data points per second. If your identity is stolen, our restoration specialists will fix it, guaranteed, or your money back. Resolve to make identity health and wealth part of your New Year's goals with LifeLock. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS. Visit lifelock.com. Terms apply.
Are you prepared for an emergency or disaster? Because it's not a matter of if, but when. Don't find yourself saying,
I'll trust water bottles and a flashlight to save the day, but I'll be proved wrong.
With a tornado approaching, I'll realize that I lack a wheelchair-accessible shelter.
When the floodwaters rise, I'll be up in the attic with 20 cans of beans. It's a recipe for disaster.
let's prepare so we all have a better story to tell. Get started at ready.gov/older adults. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Your ancestors' favorite radio station, and your favorite morning show host. Let's get back to Dominique DiPrima right now.
Right now, don't forget you can tap in with us on all social media at KBLA 1580. My personal is DiPrima Radio, DIPRIMA, and then radio. I'm everywhere. I even have my own YouTube channel. James Farr does have stuff everywhere too. He's James Farr Live. But right now, if you want to see the YouTube stream, we are at KBLA 1580 on YouTube. And it always has a great conversation going on at the same time that we are having a conversation on this microphone. You're always welcome to call in. 800-920-1580. 800-920-1580. I think I always tell you that James writes for the LA Progressive. You could find it at laprogressive.com. And he's doing some great work there. It is an excellent publication. You can sign up for it. They'll send it to your phone every day, and it's free. Although if you have a few bucks to chip in, that'd be great because the work they do is important. But you've got an article in the LA Progressive. I think did it come out yesterday?
I think it came out yesterday. I turned it in, I think, 2 days ago. So, yeah, so it came out yesterday.
And it's really interesting because you're talking about Pasadena, Altadena, and the fire relief. And I know a lot of us kind of jumped on the bandwagon, let me buy some gift cards, go volunteer, send money to a GoFundMe. But this has been my worry all along, James, is that the long-term recovery would fall out of the headlines. We'd be on to the next crisis, the Donald Trump circus, and we would forget about thousands of people, specifically, in my concern, black people, because we tend to be the ones folks forget about, who have a slog ahead. This is not going to bounce back in a month, 2 months, 3 months. So your article kind of goes into not just what it's going to take to come back, but the true extent of the devastation. So talk a little bit about this survey, this scientific survey that you are basing your article on.
Sure. First of all, KBLA Talk 1580 is not going to forget about the community, and we're going to continue to report and tell stories from on the ground. You're absolutely right, Dominique. I mean, once the kind of excitement, and that's kind of a very cynical way to frame up what happens, but once all of those other things that you were describing, the disaster capitalism, the disaster economy that's happening, the grifting that's happening, as well as the abundance of generation of support with resources and all the like, right? That stuff fades because of what you said. It just falls out of the news cycle. Well, there is an organization. These are a consulting firm, a public polling firm out of Pasadena, a small boutique firm, the Future Organization. They're behavioral scientists. They, too, were impacted by this fire. And so they've put together this very comprehensive survey, right? What the county and no one knows right now is exactly the count of people that are displaced. It's kind of guessing. That's what we've been seeing.
Right, because what we hear about is the structures. I thought it was 9. Your article says 11,000 structures.
It's 11,000 structures. And so if you think about 2.8 residents in each Altadena structure or home, right? There's 44,000 people who reside in Altadena. Now, that doesn't count people who don't participate in the census. It could be more, obviously, if they're not counted. So just doing that math.
And who doesn't usually get counted? Black people.
Right.
Right. So we're saying we don't know the number of people that have actually been displaced or made homeless by the Eaton Canyon fires.
So when we aggregate out, the research shows when they aggregate out a sampling, about 400 people have responded. African Americans are responding at a much lower rate, and that is again because generational, technological, and then awareness about the survey. But when you aggregate that number out, it looks like there are about 24,000 people who have been displaced.
That's a lot of folks.
How are they going to be tracked? Right. How is the county? No one's in town. And so that's what that research is beginning to unveil. And right now our electeds and many others they're really guessing. They don't know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the challenge of counting Black people and Latino people too is we don't like just giving out our information, and many times we're busy. We don't have time for your little survey.
Right.
But what you're saying is, according to the modeling that these scientists are doing right now, we think it is around 22,000 people.
And that's conservative.
And it could be many more.
It could be many more. And so the rush for resources, right, and the rush from people to come in and help, right? I just talked with someone yesterday. She came, an insurance professional. She said, "I came down to help. Where are people?" So there's a disconnection.
Right. Well, where are they going to be? I mean, they can't go to their homes. They got to go somewhere.
No.
And from what I understand, those shelters are closing down, right?
They are closing down. The convention center has business. It's not. I mean, it's a regional regional problem when you think about how the proximity of Altadena and Pasadena. It's a regional problem, but it's not a Pasadena problem, right? It's not a Pasadena proper problem. Pasadena only lost maybe a couple of hundred structures.
Right. You're talking about it's an Altadena problem, which Altadena and Pasadena are right next to each other. Many times we think of them as one, but from a government structural standpoint, they're not one.
No.
Pasadena has its own mayor, and as the mayor of Los Angeles pointed out on this show on Monday, the number of the number of folks you mentioned in Altadena are actually represented by the Board of Supervisors.
Right.
They're not represented by the Pasadena mayor nor the LA mayor technically, although I know that the mayor of Los Angeles is directing resources to Altadena.
Sure. I mean, it's a regional problem, right? I mean,
yeah, it's a regional problem, but when you drill down to who's responsible, it's the LA County Board of Supervisors. They do not have their own mayor.
Altadena is the only unincorporated area in LA County that has its own pseudo township, like what you would think of as a council, but they're nothing more than an advisory body, and they just can only make recommendations. They can't appropriate anything. They can't direct resources. Catherine Barger is the supervisor for that area, and that area is one of the largest geographical areas by district in Los Angeles County. So
and she's the only Republican on the LA County Board of Supervisors. I mean, she's not a MAGA Republican per se.
She looked very nice going to see Trump, though.
she's a Republican who knows how to do bipartisan dealings, which is something that is like the dinosaurs. It is an endangered species.
Right.
So that actually in some weird way could be an advantage for Altadena.
I certainly hope so.
If Trump thinks he can deliver a win for a Republican who looked very nice when she went to see him.
Well, that's a conversation for another day, but she's termed out. She can't seek office again. This will be her last term. So
right, but I mean, I'm talking about the immediate recovery funds, all the stuff folks are worried about. The reason Gavin Newsom, Karen Bass, and other California electeds are walking a thin tightrope right now.
They have to.
Yeah, I mean, you got to serve your constituents, and we are not MAGA, but. Well, most of us aren't. But you also have to cooperate. You've got to get the cooperation of the current Republican MAGA New Confederate administration, and talking smack about them, that's my job. If Gavin Newsom does it, it's not going to help us.
I vacillate on this whole talking smack at this point because your crazy rich uncle, California and Trump, right, don't get along.
Right.
And so I don't...
Even though he's always over here with his hand out.
Well...
And he raises a lot of money in California. That's why I was concerned that this administration will fix the Palisades, fund the Palisades, and not Altadena. But as you pointed
grifting
out,
is nothing new for him in his resume, right? So don't. That is what it is.
It's
but
the main part of his resume.
But I don't know if we really want to F around and find out. So the taunting, right? You know, because he's petty, right? Like, I mean, really
hella petty. I mean, you notice he took over the Rockefeller Center, and I was wondering why. And then I realized that while he was president last time, some people refused to cooperate with his awards or whatever, and they dissed him, in his opinion. So 8 years later, he's still mad.
Mm-hmm.
He just took over I digress. He took over the Rockefeller Center. Almost the entire board, including Shonda Rhimes, has resigned. And so now I think it's going to be all Kid Rock all the time. Kid Rockefeller Center.
Back to something serious, Dominique. You playing too much.
Serious.
You playing too much right now. We need people to fill out this survey, right? And so folks need to go to the LA Progressive, click under my name. You can read all the other stuff, but most importantly, folks need to access this survey. And if you know someone that knows someone that needs to access this survey, it's a comprehensive survey. It will take you about 15-20 minutes. Help grandma, help auntie, help folks fill it out, right? And it's important that they do it now. This is what I'm learning from speaking with the researchers they only want to keep this open for about 30 days because the further you get away from the event, the further or lacking of memory that some of the people will have, because we're talking about a lot of elders in this space.
Plus, it's traumatic.
Extremely traumatic.
So, yeah. So they can go to laprogressive.com.
Yes.
And find you.
Find me, and it's in.
Click on James.
That's me.
Yeah. And then fill out the survey. Yeah. And I do want to talk about that shirt and a few other things. When we come forward, we've got news, traffic, and sports right now. Then more only right here.
More of First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
I'm Bree Wood with 4 Things You Should Know with BIN News. An investigation is underway after a military fighter jet crashed off the coast of San Diego. The pilots ejected safely and were rescued by the Coast Guard. The FCC is investigating Comcast's DEI policies to ensure they don't promote discrimination in violation of FCC and civil rights laws. FCC Chair Brandon Carr highlighted that diversity, equity, and inclusion are listed as core values on Comcast's website. Preliminary CDC data shows flu deaths outpacing COVID-19 deaths in 22 states for the first time since the pandemic began. Flu deaths account for 1.7% of U.S. deaths, while COVID-19 accounts for 1.5%. And Dwayne Keefe D. Davis, accused of orchestrating Tupac Shakur's 1996 murder, was indicted on new charges of battery and challenging someone to a fight after a December incident at Clark County Detention Center in Las Vegas. I'm Bree Wood on the Black Information Network, your home for Black News First.
If you or someone you know is affected by the Los Angeles wildfires, you are not alone. No matter how sad, scared, or heartbroken you feel, CalHope is here for you and all those affected by the devastating wildfires. Find free, safe, and confidential mental health support at calhope.org.
I feel so alone. I'm embarrassed to talk about it.
How can I help my kid if I can't help myself?
I can't remember when I wasn't stressed.
I don't like it inside.
When you feel overwhelmed by your thoughts and emotions, it's okay to get help. You are not alone. CalHope is here for you with free, safe, and confidential mental health resources for youth, young adults, families, and you. Find support now at calhope.org.
They can do anything they want to us. We might not be back. I might be in jail. I might be anywhere. But when I leave, you can remember I said with the last words on my lips, I am a revolutionary.
On Saturday, February 22nd, you are invited to A Night with the Panthers, a special fundraiser dedicated to supporting Black Panther veterans who now require assistance with essential needs such as medicine, food, and housing. These Black Panther veterans championed human rights, fed the hungry, educated the community, and stood as powerful symbols of resistance and resilience. Despite their incredible sacrifices, loving and serving the people did not come with retirement plans or financial security. So, now it's our time to honor their legacy and ensure ensure that they are cared for with the dignity they deserve. You can help by attending and supporting A Night with the Panthers, Saturday, February 22nd, 6:30 p.m. to 10 p.m. at the Project 43 Team Post Center, 6841 Crenshaw Boulevard, Los Angeles. For more information, contact Black Panther Party Breakfast at gmail.com or call 707-554-2784. That's Black Panther Party Breakfast at gmail.com or call 707-554-2784. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580. At KBLA Talk 1580, we've got your black.
Here comes the brand new flavor in your head.
Race, social justice, sports, politics, art, music, culture. We do it all on the D.L. Hughley Afternoon Show. If you're not tuning in, then you are definitely missing out. It's the D.L. Hughley Afternoon Show, weekdays from 2 to 4 only on unapologetically progressive KBLA Talk 1580.
Like a brand new flavor in your head.
It's KBLA Talk 1580's third annual Black History Month luncheon, and you're invited. This is year 2 of our climate justice work, and this year's $2 million 12-month campaign is all about linking and combating the relationship between climate and black health. We already know that these wildfires will leave in their wake even greater inequities, including negative impacts on black health, given the toxic air pollutants circulating in the air we breathe. So, as part of this year's climate campaign, we're honoring black doctors and leaders in healthcare at our annual Black History Month luncheon, Friday, February 28th at noon. If you would like to join us, just go to our KBLA 1580 website and register for your chance to be our guest at the luncheon. We'd love to see you. And in case you haven't heard the news, KBLA Talk 1580 was just named one of the semifinalists for the American Climate Leadership Awards 2025. Caring about the climate, caring about the community, changing the conversation. We're KBLA Talk 1580, and we don't black down.
Kadeen and Deval Ellis for P&G Good Every Day.
Babe, guess what? We can save big on all our favorite P&G brands like Tide, Cascade, and Febreze. Plus, support great causes every day.
Wait, hold up. You telling me we can save money and feel good about it? How?
Well, remember how Granny and Big Mama used to save money by cutting those coupons out of Sunday papers? Now we just go to pggoodeveryday.com, sign up for P&G's free rewards program, and get exclusive coupons.
Okay, so we can get VIP status and save money.
Exactly. We stock up on the P&G products so you, the boys, and I are good every day, just like our folks did for us.
Well, you better go visit pggoodeveryday.com right now, because you got to go buy some detergent and toothpaste and toilet paper.
Me?
Yeah, you. And with all that extra cash, I got to go buy these new sneakers.
It's okay, funny man. You got jokes. Boy, focus on these savings first.
Visit pggoodeveryday.com.
We knew you'd stick around. This is LA's home for progressive talk radio. Welcome back to KBLA Talk 1580.
Okay, you are back. We've been here all along. Okay, so we're talking Pasadena, Altadena. James Farr's here. He lives out there. And you have an article in the LA Progressive right now. If you know someone or you are someone, I'm amazed by how many of my friends or colleagues live in Altadena. I never knew they lived there and have lost everything. According to this survey, it looks like around half the people that the scientists talked to lost everything and could not move back without a complete rebuild.
Could not. And even if there's nothing to come back to, even if there is some portion of your structure, even if the entire structure is there, right, as we see standalone houses, the toxins, the cleaning, like it
right.
Still
and who wants to live in a neighborhood if your house is completely fine, where everything around you is ash and toxic?
Absolutely.
Nowhere to go. So we're talking a couple of years here. The other thing in your article, which touches on a point I've been really concerned about, is the small businesses and renters.
Yes.
Who are not even really receiving the same kind of attention. If you're a renter, you're not rebuilding.
No.
If you're a small business, even if you do rebuild, your customers are gone.
Right. And then even it triggers something different with FEMA, right? A homeowner versus a renter. But Perry's joint, right, where we were going to host the broadcast a few weeks ago, he owned a property in Altadena that housed an institutional eatery called the Little Red Hen. That also burned down. So there's a multiplier of small businesses Altadena doesn't have a large business corridor. It's really a very bedroom type community. Not a lot of industry there or business.
Okay, so two questions. If I'm a renter, I don't get help moving. I don't get help rebuilding, obviously, because I don't own that structure. What assistance can a renter from Altadena get?
Well, they still have to go through FEMA, right? First thing is if they have to, and it depends on the type of place, but you may have renter's insurance, which may provide you some relief.
Right,
and
but
some
a lot
of the
of people
similar
don't.
things. Well, a lot
I
of
rented
places
for
force
many
you to
years,
have
and
it,
I
right?
never had renter's insurance
Yeah.
my whole life.
So
as a renter.
That's the first step, right?
Right.
If you have a rental policy, right,
Right.
renter's insurance, you'd go there. The next step would be going through the same process as everyone else, FEMA, the American Red Cross, and to kind of
But that's probably the recovery of your things.
things, right? I mean,
But does it help you to move to a new apartment is the question.
It's been situational. Like, I can't get a solid answer.
So it might not. That's why everybody's saying go to the tenants unions.
Yes.
And try to get help there. And then the other thing is, if I'm a Red Hen business or Perry's and I sustain damage, if I own the place, then I would get help to rebuild. But what if I'm leasing, which many business owners are?
Well, FEMA actually has some very low interest loans. You know, one, I think it's 2% up to $500,000. And so you can, claim for loss of revenue, damages, and all of the things. So there is a program. But be clear, it is a loan, right? Even at a lower interest rate.
You got to pay back loans, yeah.
You got to pay loans
And the
back.
other thing is, if I have a long-time customer base in Altadena that is now gone, what's my calculation about whether or not to even bring my business back? If my customers are gone, does it even make sense?
That's the nuance of the recovery. And I think right now, folks, that hasn't settled in. This rush to recovery has overstepped the fact that we're in a relief process right now. People need to be housed. Businesses need to figure out how they're going to sustain themselves. Recovery will come. You had someone on the show, I can't remember who it was talking about the depression and kind of the stages of grief. Right now, it's like people are shocked.
Yeah.
The reality.
I think it was Dr. Sunshine
Yeah.
and Dr. Sunshine and Dr. J.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Well, Dr. Jashana Johnson is Dr. J, not the basketball Dr. J. But I think, I think your article is really good. One of our jobs as people on the mic and people on the pen is to make folks start thinking maybe a phase or two ahead in that recovery, grief, denial, anger, the stages, to, start thinking about, well, what are my plans? What really makes sense? And I back to your sweatshirt for a moment. Where can we get them? Speaking of supporting the Dena,
it is Dena
Drive. And the reason I'm saying that is because we want to support, but we also want to be mindful about, what's the best way to rebuild? What makes sense? It's like my friend who's all of his customers are in the Palisades.
Well, I think
business has gone to zero.
It's not my place, but I'm gonna say it anyway. It's not a rebuild, right? It's a new town that is going to be developed. There's nothing to rebuild, and so I think the framing up of how we look at what's happening there, that mindset may make it a more healthier transition and more empowering. But the idea that people are rebuilding what they once had, it's not happening.
Dena Drive. That's what this Altadena 91001.
Yeah, it's supporting the Dena Relief Drive, and you can find it at Pasadena Classic, and that's CLSC, pronounced Classic. You can find them on Instagram, and their website is there. And Dennis is a good brother. Dennis Robinson, as I said earlier, he's the grandson of the late great Mac Robinson, who ran 36 Olympics with Jesse Owens and Hitler in the stadium.
Here we are today. Anyway, let me not get into the Hitler
let's not, because I could comment on
absolutely
his grandfather's reception coming back home to Pasadena. but that's not what we're uplifting. We're in a positive space.
But what it also does is it reminds us of the deep roots, right?
Absolutely.
In Altadena that many of these folks have going back.
Absolutely. Well, let's just say it's weird because it is
to
Black
the original Hitler.
It's Black history. Mac Robinson returned home to no ticker tape parade, no fanfare. He was awarded a mop and a broom and worked for the city.
Not the knockoff Hitler that we have today, which is like Timu Hitler.
Come on, let's stay Black history, Dominic. Let's stay Black history, right?
In any case, I do want to say, we have our Black history. We have our Black history version of the Martin Luther King Day Parade on Monday here because we moved the MLK Day Parade to Monday. And I know people are coming out rain or shine. I think it's not meant to still be raining, though, on Monday. I think it's supposed to ease up by then. And you are doing the Black history. You guys aren't having a parade in Pasadena, Altadena.
There is no parade. This is the 43rd annual Black history. It would be a parade and festival.
It's normally a parade.
A parade first and then followed by a festival. This is the longest running Black history parade west of the Mississippi. It's been around as an institution, but because of the fire and the disruption in the community, many of the people who volunteered, many of the people who actually participated, came, had fun, they're displaced and impacted in another way. So it's a much more scaled down resource fair and information. I'm the MC for the afternoon. We'll have like legal aid, and there's a bunch of resources that are going to be there. LA law lawyers will be over in my tent giving free legal advice while I'm up on stage.
Right. So we have a parade in LA, and then we have a festival after in Lamert. It's scheduled for Monday, and you have one Saturday, but there's no parade. It'll just be the festival.
No parade. Yeah.
So hopefully people that are staying with their cousins, their aunties, whatever, from all over will come back for that.
That's the hope, right? I mean, I think, and Sharon Kyle, publisher of the LA Progressive, did a podcast where we're talking about public space, right? And the loss of public space and how people will commune and congregate much differently than what they did. Local people, Black folks, we don't go to Old Town. That's the tourist spot. The community and fellowships were in the backyards, right? Those cookouts, barbecues, kickbacks. And so I'm doing something like that privately later after the Black History Festival, but I can't say where it's at and who's all going to be there.
It's a secret location. You just have to be nice to James if you want to go. I do want to make a correction. I said Rockefeller Center. I meant Kennedy Center, the Kennedy Performing Arts Center in Washington, where the president, that guy, he fired the president of the Kennedy Center, pushed out all of the Democrats that were appointed by Biden on the board, and now he's made himself the head of the chairman of the Kennedy Center, and he's put in a bunch of Republicans on the board. And that's why I said it's, who is he going to get? I mean, everyone's resigning. The artistic artists that are affiliated with that, they're stepping down. A superstar soprano, Renee Fleming, stepping down. Shonda Rhimes, stepping down. And it goes on and on. Ben Folds, singer and songwriter, resigning as the advisor to the National Symphony Orchestra. I'm not sure how much the president knows about symphony orchestras, but we shall find out.
Well, maybe he's going to do a J6 orchestra or opera.
They do have that J6 choir, right?
Yeah, see?
Oh, yeah, all J6 all the time. Okay. Well, that's where we are in America. But it's a perfect time to call us, 800-920-1580. We'll find out more about what you got going on besides the secret location party. Let me not make any cracks here. And are you guys celebrating Valentine's? Are you celebrating Valentine's Day? I am. I like chocolate. I'm going to be by myself eating chocolate, watching Netflix.
Valentine's Day. I've been seeing posters around the village.
Well, maybe. Those usually come up spontaneously, speaking of Hennessy. We'll continue our conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
A safe place to go loud. A great place for progressive politics. KBLA Talk 1580.
We ask seniors how to prevent Medicare scams.
My best advice, if you get a phone call, do not talk to the person. These people are well-trained. Don't talk to them.
They don't know me. They're just trying to scam me.
Don't be fooled. Hang up. Just hang up.
Never give out your Medicare number.
They're going to get your number to put in a false claim.
If I get a call from someone, I don't pick up the phone. And should I pick up the phone and they ask for information, then I hang up.
How do you detect Medicare fraud?
Just like I check my credit card statements, I check my Medicare statements monthly.
Scammers can get a hold of your number, order medical devices through your account, and you're not even going to know about it if you don't look at your statement.
Check your statement every month. If you get your statement and you see something that you know you did not have done, you report it.
Call your senior Medicare Patrol.
To report Medicare fraud, call the Senior Medicare Patrol at 855-613-7080.
Are you a recent college graduate with a dream of getting a high-paying job in sales? A job where you can grow a lucrative career in multi-platform audio, digital, podcast, social media, and local events, along with world-class training and career growth opportunities. KBLA Talk 1580, located in historic Leimert Park, is currently hiring entry-level account executives for outside sales. Join a team featuring radio hosts Tavis Smiley, Dr. Cornell West, Jesse Jackson Jr., D.L. Hughley, Dr. Nee Cordelai-Corte, Zoe Williams, and our very own Dominique DiPrima. For more information on attending our upcoming career fair, contact SMB at KBLA1580.com today.
Work, 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 work.
Hear that? That's the sound of your life. Perfectly imperfect. Beating in rhythm to the world you've created. But every time you drive after drinking, the music gets drowned out. Your life sounds pretty great. Don't let a buzz ruin it. Buzz driving is drunk driving. Don't drive buzzed. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. LA County's new Justice Care and Opportunities Department, or JCOD, is here to support justice-involved individuals and their families. The JCOD Support Center is now taking calls at 1-833-LACJCOD. That's 1-833-522-5263. Available 7 days a week from 6 a.m. to 11 p.m., the Support Center is your one-stop shop for re-entry issues and court support. They offer court reminders, connections to local services, transportation assistance for housing, court appearances, and childcare. The JCOD hotline provides personalized help to connect you with services that you need. And don't forget to check out justiceconnect.org for more information. Remember, it's free and available every day at 1-833-522-5263. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Thanks for calling Discover. This is Nia.
Hi, Nia. It's Jennifer. Did you know that Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year?
Yeah, I work here.
Okay. I was just double checking. Get it?
Because Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year?
Oh, you get me, Nia.
You could say that I double get you.
I guess we've taken it too far.
You earn, we match. Discover Cashback Match. See terms at discover.com/creditcard.
We knew you'd stick around. This is LA's home for progressive talk radio. Welcome back to KBLA Talk 1580.
James Farr is with me this morning, 800-920-1580, the number to call. Tell us again how to connect with the Altadena Pasadena Black History Month Festival. No parade this year.
No parade. Yeah, you can go to LA Progressive and read about it. You can Google Pasadena Black History Parade, but it takes place Saturday, the 15th from 10 to 4. The main stage that I'll be emceeing is from noon to 3. It's at Robinson Park. Goodness, I'm going to blank on the address right now, but just Google Robinson Park. There's only one Robinson Park in Pasadena. It's on Fair Oaks and Northwest.
Sounds good. We're going to go to Barbara calling us from Orange County. Good morning, Queen.
Good morning, Dominique, and good morning to our guests. I want to know, for the people that are selling their property up there in the Eaton area, maybe they shouldn't sell their property. Maybe they should consider getting a boxable house for now, because they can run as low as $20,000, and they are actual houses. They can get a small house for $70,000 to $130,000 instead of rebuilding in the beginning to where it was, and that way they can keep their property. And also, when they do start building or whatever, I sure hope they hire Black contractors and Black construction workers, because we sure get left out of everything. And then, who is the city planner that will be planning all of this? Because it looked like they had a lot of plans for that.
Again, this has got to be
Miss Barbara. Again, this has got to be county.
Yeah,
because there's no city government in Altadena.
Yeah, this
is unincorporated.
It's a countywide. People, Miss Barbara, are going to have a myriad of different circumstances. There's no universal light switch that is going to fix it for everybody. I ask people to cautiously not shame people because of a financial decision that they may be forced to make. The individual circumstances, Dominique, for everybody, mine isn't going to be the same. I may have
some
more
people have insurance. Some people have no insurance at all.
Some people are underinsured.
Some people are 90 and they're not ready to live in a boxable house.
Right.
Some people, their property may have a lot of toxic stuff on it and may need to be cleaned up quite a bit before they could even put a tiny home on there.
It's a long one. My mentee, his grandparents.
And so my question was going to be, I'm not trying to shame anybody. I want them to keep their property and not sell it and keep it in the family.
Yeah, I mean, I want them to not sell it too. Just hold on a sec, Miss Barbara. I want them to not sell it too. But what he's saying is we can't judge because we don't know their circumstances. Go ahead.
My next question was, what do they need most as people that want to volunteer? They're coming from Riverside, Orange County. What do they need most, and who do we contact?
What we need, and thank you for that question, Ms. Barbara. What's needed most is a count of people and a way to contact them, right? Once you identify the population and where they are, then you can start dispersing those resources pointedly in other places, because the people aren't they're not home, they're not in their area. So I mean, they're having a lot of things happening in the city. No one's there because they're not there,
because their homes aren't there. Well, I mean, there is a really comprehensive list of Black GoFundMe pages,
right?
That I think it's still posted at LA Mutual Aid Network on Instagram.
There are things, I mean, people need cash. Let me answer that question. She talked about the trades, right? Now is the time for that 15-year-old, that 12-year-old, if they're interested in a trade, to start making a pathway to a trade, because the jobs are going to be there in 5 years. They're just not here now. And so the idea that you hope they hire Black people, well, Black professionals or tradesmen, it's, consistent with what our populations are, right? There are not that many of us here in this area. So you're going to have even less contractors and folks in those specific trades. So now is the time.
I mean, they might not have to wait 5 years. Right now, there's a lot of rebuilding that's going to go on everywhere.
No, there's a lot of remediation and cleanup that's going to go up.
And building.
Yeah, and there'll be some aspects of building. So but if you're not EPA certified,
now,
if you're not EPA certified, you're not starting a hauling
James,
business.
People are hauling junk. They're cleaning stuff up. But to finish what I was saying, Miss Barbara, about, what can you do? I mean, I think there are a number of organizations, like we talked about, neighborhood servants,
yes.
or you can get with the NAACP Pasadena, that would be able to give you a direction as far as volunteering in a way that would actually be helpful. Because as James said, people are not in Altadena right now.
Well, my next piece talks about the grifting, right? That's where we're going with this. These large national organizations raising hundreds of millions of dollars over the last 4 weeks.
Yeah, I'm talking about the local
NAACP.
NAACP.
Yes.
And we can go deeper into grifting, because I think we talked about it some with Brandon Lamar several weeks ago, but it's amped up now. But I want to underline about the GoFundMes, because there is a list of verified Black family GoFundMes. Some of them have only raised a couple $1,000s. Some have raised everything they were asking for. And I think every bit counts. And to your point, James, about what's a grift and what's real, if you go through an organization like Neighborhood Servants, like the Pasadena NAACP, like the
Pasadena Church, yeah.
Pasadena Church, then you'll make sure that if you are going to donate, you're donating to a real GoFundMe that will help a real, actual black family.
And also, the GoFundMes can disinclude you from accessing certain insurance and FEMA funds. So it's
what do you mean?
Meaning you are receiving relief, and so FEMA is saying, well, you just raised $100,000. Why do you need money from us?
Oh, so they'll say you no longer qualify because you got money through a GoFundMe.
Or they may say you weren't in a mandatory evacuation zone like I was. You weren't under evacuation orders like I was. You were in an area alert.
A warning, right?
A warning. There's a totally different thing in terms of what resources and benefits are available to you.
That's interesting. Did not know that. Thank you, Barbara, for the questions and the commentary. We just have a minute here, James. What do you want to make sure you emphasize while you're here?
Pray for these people. Pray for the community, right? Send them positive love and energy, right? Don't be judgmental. If you haven't seen it from the ground, you have no idea what these people are doing. So before you join the social media bandwagon, don't sell. And Altadena is not for sale, right? But don't shame people because they have to make a decision that benefits them.
I mean, I don't think she was trying to do that.
No, I don't think I'm speaking, that may be a hit dog holler, right? But I'm speaking in general what I'm seeing on social media.
Yeah, no, I see it too. And I got checked for that years ago because I used to tell people, quit selling your homes in Lamert and Crenshaw and Watts and moving to Moreno Valley because we're diluting the black vote. I was like, stay, circle your wagons. But a lot of people let me know, hey, some folks feel they don't have any choice.
Right.
And their circumstances are such that it's none of your business. So I had to back down from that. So I understand what you're saying. Remind us how to find you other than on this mic over here at KBLA.
At James Farr Live across all socials.
At James Farr Live, and he's doing a splendid job covering updates and up-to-the-minute news around the Altadena recovery. James, thank you for coming in.
Thank you, as always, Dominique Agape.
News, traffic, and sports, and then it's the perfect time for conversation, always on KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Bree Wood with 4 Things You Should Know with BIN News. An investigation is underway after a military fighter jet crashed off the coast of San Diego. The pilots ejected safely and were rescued by the Coast Guard. CDC data shows flu deaths outpacing COVID-19 deaths in 22 states for the first time since the pandemic began.